it's time for another classic JP and the Beans top 5. And with Man of Steel obviously no longer being the Superman that we're going to see, I thought, or I was inspired by, hey, what are some of the best movies, franchises, shows that we wish would have kept going in some way that we would have liked to have seen carry on. Obviously, these are going to be imperfect creations, so we're not saying this was perfect, but we would have liked to have seen it given some more time. Maybe it could have been better, so on and so forth. So, Riley, without further ado, you go first.
My number 5.
Yes, sir.
X-Men Origins. Now, I know this is ballsy. Because Wolverine, X-Men Origins Wolverine, is very hit and miss. Okay? Had some good stuff.
Great hits.
And then had some very bad stuff. Okay? But I would have loved them to just take a couple other characters and build. And we kind of got it with X-Men First Class. We got a little bit of it. But I would have just enjoyed that to another extent. You have Halle Berry as Storm. You could have done a really cool hour and a half movie with Storm. And then you can throw in a couple other X-Men just to kind of bulk her up a little bit if you need to. Jean Grey, Cyclops. There's a lot of characters you could have chosen. Nightcrawler, for Pete's sake. So, for me, I would have loved to see more of those types of movies where it just kind of highlights one X-Men character. And again, flesh out the cast with some other ones in there, but that's my choice for number 5.
That's an absolutely great poll. I had totally forgotten about that. It was originally supposed to be that, right? Like,
think so.
Origins, just ongoing anthology of sorts.
And I don't know who they had planned.
Sure.
But, I mean, come on, you could have made a case for Gambit after that movie. I was
just going to say Gambit, because he was introduced well enough in that movie. Yeah, that's great. Number 5 is actually maybe a little surprising here. Fantastic Four.
The original?
Yeah.
I would have.
I like that, and here's why. The characters as a whole they provide stories worth telling, so they're fascinating to me just in general. They're a great, just eclectic collection, and the casting, that original casting, nothing wrong with it. Now, I don't
think there could have been. There's very few movies that are casted that well.
Yeah. I'm not like holding the torch for Jessica Alba as like a perfect Sue Storm, but she's fine. She's fine. I believe that Vanessa Kirby's going to crush it. She's Jessica Alba's a beautiful person. I don't think she's a great actress. Sorry. But I'm not saying that you should have pulled the franchise plug because of that. They just, unfortunately, didn't do a very good job of telling stories.
Yeah.
Especially the second one. Like the first one, there's something to do with
some substance.
Yeah, there's some substance.
Enough to have a second one.
Yeah, and the second one just was lazy. So that was too bad. I would have liked to have seen I'd like to see those movies continue. You've done some things. My number 4 is the Blade trilogy. You just keep telling these movies forever. Freaking Vampire Hunter, Vampire Killer. Turn it into a TV show if you need to, if you don't want to keep making the movies. Right. But you're telling me that you've got Wesley Snipes as Blade, and then the third movie you bring in Ryan Reynolds as a partner to him, and then you're like, and we're done. Screw you. How dare you? Give me Wesley and Ryan for multiple more movies, please.
Yeah.
Don't give me a tease of one and then done. That's pure poppycock. By the third movie, they had Triple H playing a vampire.
It's so funny to me.
Awesome. So you mean we could have had more wrestlers being vampires? There's endless wrestlers that could have had as vampires.
The fact that it wasn't The Undertaker or Kane is what is mind-boggling to me.
They're still out there. So, the Blade trilogy. That's my number 4.
My number 4 belongs to Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. We were going to get a 4 until Sony's like, nope. But, because Spider-Man 3's failure was not on Raimi. It's 100% not on Raimi. The studio forced Venom on him.
Yep.
I would have loved to see what that movie would have looked like without Venom.
Right.
I don't think Venom would have gotten involved at all in any of these movies if it weren't for Sony. Not that I didn't want Venom, because Venom is awesome. But
But it was too much in that movie.
Right.
It didn't belong.
And number 4, they were talking about Vulture and Vulture and Mysterio. We would have gotten those 2 characters a lot earlier.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see Raimi's take on, because it was going to be Bruce Campbell as Mysterio.
Yep.
That was going to be the Mysterio. And the guy that they had picked for Vulture, I don't remember, but it was perfect.
Yeah.
It was a perfect casting choice. I would have loved to see what Raimi did with it. And you let him end the franchise, if that's what he wanted to do, on his terms. Not this forced 3 box office failure. The poor guy.
Yeah,
right?
Host. He did.
He got 100% host. And so did Toby. So, that's my number 4.
Toby. Bruce Campbell has such a great scene in Spider-Man 3. Gosh, he's
so
freaking awesome.
You gotta love him.
Yeah.
My number 3, Man of Steel 2. Now, after seeing the first one, I wanted more time. I want to see more Superman villains get involved.
Yes.
Right? We have Zod. I would have loved Luthor. Luthor would have been odd, I think. I think he would have been a good, supporting villain.
Right.
I think
initially, no question.
I think Brainiac would have been perfect.
Yep.
I think Brainiac would have been perfect for this setting.
Yes.
Right? They already dealt with one alien.
Yes,
I think it would have been
bring
great.
in more aliens.
Correct.
Truly.
I think that's a no-brainer to me.
Totally agree.
And then kind of have Lex start setting up Bizarro, Metallo.
Right.
You can even say Parasite.
Yep.
Have him set up these other Superman villains on the side.
Right.
I think that would have been fantastic.
Yeah.
And just to see, I would have really loved to see the growth. Because I think you could have gotten him to the point of being the symbol of hope.
Yep.
And we didn't have that.
Yeah.
Doesn't
even have the opportunity.
If you look at Tom Holland's Spider-Man, we didn't really get him as Spider-Man until No Way Home.
Right.
Where he finally,
right.
That's him.
There's your
There he is. He was Spider-Man, but he didn't fully get to the point until the end.
Exactly.
And thank God we're getting more of him.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
But we'll never see that with Henry, and I think it's a shame.
Right. Yeah, totally agree. That's also my number 3, as a matter of fact, Man of Steel 2. So I love the take on Brainiac being the villain, because one of the things that Man of Steel got right was they gave Superman a difficult villain or villains to defeat, right? So it was enjoyable. There's genuine tension in the action when he's going up against other Kryptonians, right? So absolutely, Brainiac's another worthwhile villain. You don't want to just pop Luthor in there.
And he kills the rest of his
That's what we did in Justice in Batman v Superman.
Right.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Right. So there's no question. You want to take time to build that up.
I mean, yeah, look, you could have brought Supergirl into the mix in that one. You could have brought in the city of Kandor. Because think about it, at that point, he's like, I'm the last.
Yep.
If you bring in all these other people of I'm not the only one of my race left, and then
bring in Martian Manhunter, who is the last of his race.
Yeah, that's true. But then have it all ripped away again, maybe? Perfect.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no question. My number 2 is the original Spider-Man trilogy. All the things you said, completely true. I really would like to see what Spider-Man 3 would have been with Sandman as the primary villain, with Harry Osborn, going crazy. They set that up at the end of Spider-Man 2, which is okay. It's organic, fine, but I don't want Harry as the primary villain. That's not what I'm here for. It gets too old too quick.
It's interesting with Sandman too, because this version of him, I don't know if he could have been the main focus, and that's not a knock against the actor, because I think the actor was a fantastic choice.
Yeah,
but he rode the line.
Yeah.
Too much of
he's very, very empathetic, or sympathetic rather,
caring about his daughter and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's why I think they tried with Venom in there, just to be oh no, this dude's the bad. Yeah. But I don't know.
Yeah,
I could have been wrong.
Yeah,
I don't know what Raimi's full vision was. So
who's to say? But anyway, that's my number 2, the original Spider-Man trilogy.
My number 2 is Iron Man. I wanted more Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. I will never get enough of that, to be honest with you.
It's a great pull.
And it's going to be, people are going to be like, you got 3 movies and you got a couple Avengers movies and you got Captain America Civil War. I don't care. Okay?
Can't have too much.
Look, the first one was so good.
Yeah.
The second one, The third one, Now, don't get me wrong. I love the Hall of Armor call.
Right. Yeah, each of those movies has portions that are fantastic, but neither goes from start to finish.
Right.
Yeah.
Outside of Obadiah, we didn't get like another good, solid Iron Man villain.
Correct.
The next 2 solid Iron Man villains were formed for Spider-Man to fight.
Mm-hmm.
Weird how that works. Mm-hmm. So I just feel like imagine him versus Shang-Chi's version of the Mandarin.
Correct.
That would be so much better than what we got.
Right.
So, Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr., he should have had we should have more Iron Man movies than Thor movies.
Yep.
Plain and simple.
Totally fair on that. Your number 1, Sa.
My number 1, this just fits the entire show today. Daredevil.
Love it.
Now, we are getting another season, but we should have
I thought you meant the Ben Affleck movie.
No, God. No. We should have had a season. We should have had 3 more seasons at least. He should have been in more movies.
Yep. There's really desire on Charlie Cox, on his side,
correct,
to keep being the character.
Right. I don't understand. The thought process of not executing on that is insane to me.
I know it. Yep.
There is hope to get him back. I don't want to get our hopes up. Strong rumors that Spider-Man 4 will be street focused and it'll be Daredevil and Spider-Man. And it won't be a mentor role. It will be a buddy cop role. And I'm all for it. Okay, that's fantastic. Really, those 2 are like very close in the comics.
Yep.
So to see Peter actually be acknowledged as a peer to other superheroes instead of like this up and comer, I'm all for it, man. So Daredevil, Charlie Cox, that's my number 1.
It's an awesome number 1. It's awesome. My number 1 is the original X-Men trilogy.
Fair.
X2 is one of the best superhero movies still that I have ever seen. And the first X-Men movie, listen, is it dated with its effects? Yes, but its storytelling
still works.
It still works. It's so sound. The casting is incredible. It's phenomenal. Not just because Hugh Jackman, who we all know, but remembering Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen in their respective roles as Professor Xavier and Magneto. Tremendous. Halle Berry is Storm. Great. Famke Janssen, I think is how you pronounce her name.
I've never seen her in anything else, but she was a fantastic Jean Grey.
She was great. Farts, I'm blanking on the name of the actor who played Cyclops. But the way that they...
James Marsden?
Well done. Thank you. Yep, Mr. Marsden.
I'm surprised I knew that.
Frick Scott Summers.
He's great.
Perfect.
And I don't feel like we got enough of him.
No, and that's the thing. There's so much untapped potential in that trilogy. Like, they started sprinkling in additional characters at a great pace. They didn't overdo it at first. You got Nightcrawler in the second movie, but then he's just not in the third one. The third one was just a...
By the way, his introduction... we talked about that.
Great scene.
We talked about that
all-time great scene. Yeah. So that was one of the most disappointing movie-going experiences of my, at the time, young life, was X-Men 3. 1 and 2 had been so good, and 3 was just a mess. And it just did the previous 2 movies dirty by killing off characters. And so anyway, that's a trilogy that I wish, first of all, the third movie would have gone better, and then it also just could have continued, because man, there's some good stories to tell. And I'm aware Days of Future Past tried to kind of,
that was a great movie.
Redeem some of that.
I like that movie.
It's a great movie.
First Class, also great movie.
First Class is phenomenal. I enjoyed Apocalypse a lot too.
That one was okay.
Yep.
That's where I fall off.
I know. I enjoy it more than others. It's weird. But regardless, there's my number 1.
Fair enough.
So there you have it. I think that's it.
That's definitely it.
Come on.